Thanks, Chair, and good evening, Minister. I have only 6 minutes, so I just want to focus in on one very particular issue, because I know my fellow committee members have raised a lot of the issues already. I've been recently dealing with a mum who her oldest son has done the Leaving Cert and her youngest child is kind of entering the Leaving Cert years now, and both children are visually impaired. And obviously, I have a child of my own who is in a similar position, much younger obviously, but during COVID a huge amount of the teaching online was very challenging for children who were visually impaired. A lot of it was digital, a lot of it required a lot of technology, and in fairness our experience has been the technology is very freely available and excellent in terms of its provision by the department, and we can't fault it there. But during COVID, certainly, there was a kind of a working method of very much digital, very much online, and we learned to rely on that, and certainly secondary school students who are moving towards independence very much rely on that. Now, we've discussed already by a colleague here that this doesn't exactly happen during state exams, and I know the State Examinations Commission is an independent body, but it does sit within your department, and the reality is that there is children who have been working and studying and learning through digital means throughout their whole education. Like my 10-year-old is doing everything on a Polaris now, and that's like a laptop with no screen. They cannot do it in the same way at state examinations, and to me that seems like a very clear breach of the UNCRPD. It really disadvantages children who have learned one way and then are being asked to do a state exam in a completely different way. Now, a very simple fix to this would be to allow for PDF versions of exam papers. And when it comes to a clear breach of human rights, although it's a public body and it's a non-departmental public body, I think in this case it would be appropriate for the department to step in with the State Examinations Commission, who I have met, by the way, and say, action needs to be taken here fast. We have discussed the issue of reasonable accommodations, and I did bring along actually the document for reasonable accommodations. This is the Irish document of reasonable accommodations. It's not without detail. I just want to give you an example of best practice though. This is the UK one. It is, I think, by my word count, it's about 4 times as long. It's incredibly detailed. They do allow for digital papers. They do allow for a number of issues. We know in the Irish experience, the scribe offer it does not suit everybody. The extended amount of time does not suit everybody. For a lot of children who are doing exams that include pictures, unless they have a scribe kind of explaining the pictures to them, they're told not to use the pictures. That is clear disadvantage. And what I would say is there's a couple of really simple things that we could do. So just to say, I know you said there that we are going to be reviewing reasonable accommodation in line or in tandem with the Leaving Cert reform in general. We could do that earlier, and certainly I made the point to the State Examination Board that this is urgent. This is clearly against the UNCRPD. Now, I didn't get the sense, and maybe I'm misrepresenting them, I don't want to paraphrase them, but when I met with the State Examinations Commission, I didn't feel a sense of urgency about reviewing reasonable accommodations, which, I'm sorry, it's not great. And we all know that we have some of the lowest levels of full-time employment for people with disabilities in this country, and this is part of it. It's a barrier to third-level education. I didn't get the sense that, A, they were going to they had no kind of immediate plans for review, and B, when I talked to them about the PDF thing, I asked them whether there was capacity within their own organisation to make PDFs digitally available during state examinations, and the answer I got, and I don't want to misrepresent them, is that no, they wouldn't, which puts us into the territory of going for a tender. Now, a tender process, as we all know, is going to take longer. I don't want to kind of be flippant about this, but I have staff in my office who could make a PDF document that is secure and that would meet the security requirements of the state examination. So I have 3 very clear kind of suggestions for the department. A, to intervene with the SEC and to instruct them to undertake a review of reasonable accommodations. I think that's a longer project. I totally accept that. B, to allow in that process some kind of a forum between parents and a consultation with parents and a consultation with relevant educators. My experience of the visiting teachers has been excellent. They know exactly what they're doing, and I know people within a department don't always feel like they can speak up, but they are the experts here, and I feel very much that we could learn from them, and they should be asked what a reasonable accommodation is. And C, we should just get on with the PDF thing. We could just do that tomorrow. We could have that for Leaving Cert students in the next round of examinations, and I would really like to impress upon you what a difference that would make to the very small number of students whose lives would be transformed by really being able to access state examinations.
Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy. And to be fair, I can't disagree with any point that you've raised there. I can't, insofar as we have made enormous strides in terms of technology in the last long number of years, but particularly, I think, in the last couple of years, and we have seen the enormous benefit. If we're to follow through on it and build on it, then we need to go the next step. I will have to say to you, State Examinations Commission are charged with the exams, and they do have, they do have that ultimate responsibility. But from my own point, I will say to you, I do think you make a clear point. I particularly think, and I've said it earlier, the whole catalyst really for senior cycle reform, and I know they have linked the race review is linked with senior cycle reform, but it is to give maximum opportunity to students, to be the best that they can be in any situation, most notably in the exams. What I will say to you, Deputy, is just to leave it with me. I will take this with me, and I will see where the scope and the potential is. I don't want to lead you astray and say that it is within my gift, because it's not entirely like it. It is within the State Examinations Commission, but I do think there's a fair point being raised, and other points have been raised around, accessibility of exam papers. And I will say to you, points that have been raised with me around that, as well as that they have that duty. They have a duty as well around, protecting the exams and all of that. But there's always
just to say, and I know I'm over time, I completely accept their issue around protecting the exam. Nobody wants to have to redo a new exam, and I do think, though, that it would be meaningful for them to hear from the Minister that there's a concern around the human rights issues here. And I know that Senator Erin McGrahan, who wanted to be here tonight, also were, and Senator Martin Conway, were like a little mini coalition on this issue, and we're very concerned about what that means for students.
And to be fair, they have raised that with me previously, and I want to acknowledge that. Okay, thanks, Deputy.
Thanks, Minister.